Good morning. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth Coffee Chat. Got a few of you here early, which is awesome. Good morning, Kevin. Good to see you, mate. Hello, whoever the Facebook user is. Good morning to you. Great to see you online. Luke's here. We've got David. Got Alex. Rodney, good morning. Hope you're all well, team, wherever you are. Do some quick intros while things are getting warmed up a little. Thanks for joining those who are already here. Maybe some of you either now or later on watching the replay might be new. So hello, if you're new. Jason Witten's my name. If you didn't already know, most of you do. This is something we do each morning around about 10 past 8. We call it a Wealth Coffee Chat. Over there, you can see that. Get together and talk about the world of property investing. What's going on out there in the crazy world that we live in, and try and make a little bit of sense of it each day. Just a little bit, a bit of a snippet of what's on your mind, what's in the newspapers, what's going on, and just to make sure we can stay on track as property investors, because folks, you know, this takes a little bit of time to create the wealth that you want, and we need to hang on with the world of property investing, because sometimes the media try to ham it up a little bit, don't they? They like to ham it up quite a lot. Bit of clickbait, bit of drama, sells newspapers, but it doesn't make a good investor. So this show, this morning Wealth Coffee Chat, is about trying to get to the bottom of all the drama, carry on malarkey that the media like to stir up, and see if there's anything we need to actually pay attention to. So yeah, that's the gist of the show. Welcome along. Today, I thought we might talk about construction prices. A lot of builders have gone broke, unfortunately, very sadly, and inflation in the past little bit has put a fair bit of pressure on the old world of construction and construction prices. Feel a bit old, but back in my day, you could build a house for a lot less. You could build an apartment for a lot less. Now, good morning, Aaron, a little bit more expensive. But is it still worth it? You know, is the value there? The short answer is yes. But hang on, let's have a bit of a conversation about what that looks like, folks, and what's going on. So let's dive into it. Today's a bit of a conversation around the price of construction floating around out there in the market. And good news, you know, a little bit of good news all around when it comes to the world of property, and maybe economically, but I'm certainly not an economist, I can tell you that. I observe a few little things in my small niche, and the niche is property investing. What are we seeing? Well, we've seen the inflation rate headline and underlying slow down. Good news. We've seen the interest rate rises pause for the moment. Hopefully it is for the foreseeable future, but we shall see. We shall see. And right now, folks, which is, again, great news, excellent news, passing on through inflation lowering, construction costs, the volatility of material supply and pricing is flattening out. The growth of construction prices is slowing and/or reducing in what the costs are. So what does that mean to us? Well, we need to go and understand what it looks like out there in the world of construction, and see if any of that needs to be paid attention to. Growth in Australian construction costs, lowest since 2020. Great news. So let's put that in context. Three things. Number one, inflation. Inflation lower, which is great, right? Interest rates paused, which is good news. which is good news, folks. And construction costs flat, and or the rate of growth doesn't mean that the cost of construction is going backwards, but the rate of cost increases is at the lowest, slowing or reducing. It was it's cheaper this month to lay some bricks than it was last month. The overall cost is not necessarily going backwards. So let's talk about that. I think it's important to understand as a property investor this little piece of the puzzle. So let's have a look at what has occurred in the past or might occur in the future. Now, here's some forecasts from, I think this was from, who are they? Ryder Levitt Bucknell, who does some research on construction costs, team, and where is it going to rise, or where will it, chill out, start to come back into norm. And so it's great to see the construction forecast saying that, okay, over there in sort of, 24, we should see this thing chilling out and around about the level of inflation, folks, around about the level of inflation, because for the moment, some of these numbers, Gold Coast, 15%, and, some of this construction has eaten away profits. Well, I heard this saying the other day, the profitless boom for a lot of builders and developers, the profitless boom, where many construction contracts underway that were priced in, let's say, 2020 and were trying to be delivered, let's say, in 22 and 23, struggled to have profit in their construction contracts. So, hey, good morning, Alison. Good to see you. And Adrian, I think, missed you there before. So what does it mean per square meter to build a property? Now, we're going to talk houses, and I'll show you a really good website in a minute to understand the rough costs of building a property, and it'll probably blow your socks off. Tell me, what do you guys think? What's the... Give us a guess to build a pretty nice, medium style quality house in an average city. What do you think the full cost is? Complete, walk in and rent it out to a tenant. And this is just a house, by the way. Let's say 190 square meter, 200 square meter house. Have a guess. Put it in the chat if you think you know. What do you think it costs to build just the house, not the land and other bits, just the house? Tell me, folks, in the chat, what do you reckon? Because I'd be interested to know if we have a bit of an understanding. Some of you might be building something now. Some of you might know. But tell me, do you know what the average cost to build, a house from scratch right now might be? Luke's got 1,500 a square meter. David's 600K-ish. Chabelle, 300, 800 grand. Allison, yeah, well, depending on the quality and the location, probably all of those numbers are pretty accurate. That's interesting. So let's have a look at the per square meter rate. Luke talked about it before, and this is a very technical term. How you do a rough price of construction costs with brand new properties, okay? And I'll show you where you can dive into this a little bit deeper in a minute. But, Adelaide, where's the least expensive place to build at the low end? Interestingly, you've got Adelaide, and you've got the Gold Coast. But where is some of the most expensive places to build at the higher end? Well, interesting, it's not that unexpected to see Sydney there, but have a look at Melbourne, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast, and what we're seeing right now in markets that Queensland is getting a lot of population moving here, and spending a fair bit of money. So, in comparison, it's actually less expensive to build a higher quality property in Melbourne with a bigger city. So, that's why I like the idea of diving into some of this data. And you go, okay, well, what do things look like? Where are they landing? Maybe where am I getting the best value bang for my buck? Now, this is just a general overview. It's not like every exact building and property, of course. So, it gives us a bit of a guide on what it might cost per square meter. And I'll show you in a second how we worked it out. So the latest figures from the ABS say that the cost of an average house is around about $450,000. A little bit higher than it was the month before. And, close to $60,000 more than it was in 2022. And in 2021, 319. And we built a few houses in 2020 and 2019. And, you were in the sort of the 280s in those days. So question is, is it still worth it? Is it still worth it to build a house? And the answer is yes. It all depends on where and what type of property you're going to build, folks. But tell me right now, do you guys think that, the builders are going to drop the prices significantly for construction into the future? Do you think, does anybody think it's going to go from $450 back to, let's say, $300K to build a house? Anyone think that the builders are going to drop their prices from $450 to $300? And there's a few reasons why I don't believe it's going to happen. But what do you think? Do you think that will occur? Not a chance. No, it's not going to occur. Couple of reasons why. Now, the cost of construction, the cost of materials, that might go down a little bit. But number one, labor costs. And number two, infrastructure projects around Australia. Now, there is record spending, huge, massive record spending around Australia for infrastructure projects. Just to name a few, the Brisbane Olympics, out of control, lots of money being spent. And if you're not in Brisbane, folks, if you haven't purchased something in Brisbane, you've got to get a piece of that action. I'm telling you right now. There's some interesting value. I'm going to talk about something in a minute where construction right now, some of the construction of apartment properties are more expensive than constructing a house, and that hasn't been the case for a long time. And now a house is actually better value in construction terms in certain places than it is, let's say, for apartments. So it's interesting when it comes to this world. So the labor, the dollars will stay up; they will not go down, and infrastructure projects will keep the prices high. And who are those infrastructure projects with, folks? Who's the vendor of those? Who pays for the infrastructure projects? Who's the customer? I want to ask you a question on this. Who's the customer? Who are these infrastructure projects? Brisbane Olympics, the largest private infrastructure project in Australia's history, replacing all the railway lines in or the level crossings in Melbourne. Government, exactly, Luke. So tell me, Luke, folks, how does the government's track record go with bringing if you work on a government project or you work on a private project, which one gets paid the most? Or which one has the most? We pay for it. You're dead right, David. And this is sort of a loaded question anyway. Anyway, with those government projects, I've never seen one come in on budget or on time. I know people who've got jobs on government sites, being the lollipop man or something, holding the stop sign, getting paid 180 grand a year, and all the power to them. If you get that job and you get a gig, happy days. But, in the real world, holding a damn stop sign is not worth $180,000, right? What happens is this: the infrastructure projects pay more than they should. They end up getting a lot of people working on those that we probably need to get working in other places, and the government causes its own problems. Anyway, that's probably one for a wealth, wine, and wisdom, folks. But anyway, labour shortage, infrastructure costs, and at the moment we're having a bit of a mining boom in WA, and that mining boom always gathers some people to jobs. Okay, so if you want to have a look at how to work out some construction costs, there's a great website called the BMT Tax Depreciation. They've got a few calculators on their website. So how much does it cost to build a house in 2023? And you can go and have a look at here, the per square meter, depending on what you're building. Now have a look at this. Let's go the median, anywhere from 2,000 a square meter down to 5,000 a square meter when it's architecturally designed. And the cost to build a townhouse. Look at that. 3,000 a square meter. That's not too bad. And when you think about what you're getting, you can think about the idea of some of the amenities that come with it. Cost to build units, in that mid-range, probably a little bit higher as well. So you can see some of the costs around the country to build certain properties. And at the moment, if you choose the right house in the right spot, maybe building a house can land you the right type of property when it comes to building something for you and your portfolio. Okay, so BMT Tax Depreciation, good calculator. But let's do this. Chuck it in the chat, folks. Check out this. Let's go build a 4-brick bedroom, a 4-brick veneer home, level block, 2-level design in where we go. Even let's just do a single level design in Sydney, medium finish, and let's go 180 square meters. It's a small property, right? Who wants to have a guess? This is an interesting one. Have a guess. I'll put the drum beats down here. A 4-bedroom, single story, level block, Sydney. As of today, the construction cost in 2023, medium finish, nothing special. Let's have a look at the cost it would take to build the house. Have a guess. Put it in the chat. Let's see if anyone can get close. If someone gets close, I'll send them a I don't know. I'll send you a coffee voucher. I should get some prizes for this. What do you think? Put it in the chat for me, team. Because Sydney is probably one of the most expensive places to build a house. I wonder what it might cost. Bum, bum, bum. Any guesses? Mary Rose reckons 450. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Mary Rose pretty close. Minimum 550 up to 6. Maybe let's call it 650. Yeah, there you go. Nicola was 429. Luke was 390. Interesting, huh? So let's change that to Melbourne. Let's see what happens. Melbourne's around about the same. Let's go to Brisbane. Let's see what happens. Brisbane, not much different to build something like that. Let's go Adelaide, a little bit less. Perth, let's see what happens. Oh, maybe Perth's a bit more. So it's interesting. All right. Canberra, et cetera, $600,000 in Canberra. There you go. Devinda. Yeah. So interesting, isn't it, team, when you have a look at what's going on out there? If you want to understand what happens. Now, it's not all bad news, folks, because certainly when you build a property, if the cost of the house goes up, then you get some tax depreciation as well, et cetera, et cetera. So is it worth it? Yes, it is. And I think for the moment, we're going to see, folks, we're going to see the price or the value of a well-chosen house and land actually come to its own for the next little bit. And I think that's going to be pretty good. Some of us who've got apartments and units, we've had some pretty significant uplifts in our values. That's been fantastic. That's not only been pushed along by some of the market growth, but also by some of the cost it takes to build those properties. And there's a little opportunity in some interesting things. Oh, that's perfect, Luke. You killed it, mate, for $270 for a 205 square metre. Oh, it'd probably cost you $400 to build that now, $450 easy. So you get an uplift, isn't it? So it's kind of a two-edged sword. If you're on the other side of it, you're trying to wrangle your mind around the cost of building something. But going forward, it's not going to go down in any significant way. Those prices will stay up there. But again, the past is done and dusted. You can't reverse time. All you can do is position yourself in the marketplace to say, all right, what do I do next? Where do I go? And certainly constructing a brand new house is certainly part of many people's portfolio building thoughts. Just make sure you get a bit of help along the way. All right, team. Well, there you go. Construction costs have flattened out. Interest rates are paused. Inflation's down. A few good signs. I'm cautiously excited. We're yet to see what happens with the next couple of months for interest rates. Anyway, that's it. Done and dusted, folks. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Thanks for joining. Good to see all of you. Join me tomorrow for another one if you're up for it. We shall talk a little bit about something else tomorrow. Let's see what pops up in my feed. Let me know in the chat if there's anything that you think's worth commenting or talking about. But for the moment, folks, thanks for joining me. And remember, I've got a couple of sayings around here. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to build your portfolio. There's this balancing act of don't be in a hurry, but don't muck around, right? If you can, you should. Buy well, don't sell, and get some help from some great people, some coaches and mentors if you feel stuck. That's the drill. All right, folks, that's it from me. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow, 8:10, says on the screen. Till then, you guys go take care. Bye for now.